Now, Newzroom Afrika is bringing you rolling coverage this morning of the shutdown from across the country. In Johannesburg, the police's top brass, including Minister Zikhona, are already assessing the situation. Meanwhile, in the capital, EFF members have started gathering at the seat of government, the Union Buildings. Newzroom Afrika's Govan Whittles is there and joins us live. In a moment, we'll also take you to Limpopo and speak to our Zikhona Tshona. Govan, let's begin with you. I understand that you were driving around the capital this morning. Where are you now? And what do you see?
Good morning, Michelle. Joining you from the CBD of Pretoria. We've chosen this spot just a few hundred meters away from Tshwane House on the old Prinsloo Street because this is a good assessment of whether things have actually been shut down in the capital city. And as you can see behind me, taxis are operating as usual. People are moving in and out of the city. We've had a chance to go through the city center. In the CBD, we did come across a group of at least 10 EFF members who were making their way towards the Union Buildings. But as for businesses and the operations in the city, they have not been shut down. We spoke to a number of taxi drivers as well, and the taxis that will be coming into frame shortly that you'll see are coming from Soshanguve, from Garankuwa, from Mabapane, from Attridgeville, and they've been able to come into the city without being stopped at any major road blockages. Taxi drivers saying that they haven't seen roads being blocked, routes being stopped, and it looks like taxis are able to operate as usual. Then we've also spoken to a number of these commuters, many of them rushing right now, not willing to stop and speak to us, but saying that they also haven't experienced any stoppages along the way, that they're going to work, that they believe they'll be able to get to work safely, that they're not being harassed or intimidated or stopped from doing so. But it is still very early. Last night, we saw a number of groups of EFF supporters mobilizing for support in the city center. There were quite a number of them moving through the different sections of the city center. We know that the EFF's student command has promised to bring the University of Pretoria to a standstill in Hatfield, but the big focal point, which we'll show you later on this morning, will be the Union Buildings. That's where the national leadership of the EFF will gather and address what's expected to be a crowd of thousands of people who will be calling for the president to resign from his position, and it will essentially be the culmination of today's national shutdown. But as you can see around me, it's not been shut down in the city center in the capital.
So, Governor, I understand that there is a small gathering already as of this morning at the Union Buildings. But as you say, things progressing per usual on this Monday morning at almost 6:10. What do you make of this slow start to the protest in the capital?
Don't want to read too much into it. We could be seeing these very same streets being shut down later on in the day, particularly as more supporters of the EFF start making their way towards the Union Building. What's interesting about today's shutdown is that it's a protest, not a march, as the president of the EFF has said, and that means that there is no gathering point. They've mentioned Burgers Park up the road, and some have said Sammy Mark Square as a place where they expect EFF supporters to gather and then make their way to the Union Buildings, but they're expected to more likely come from all areas in the city, particularly those who would have been staging protests at what they've deemed as the EFF as strategic sites, such as universities. What we're seeing about the national shutdown, particularly here in Pretoria, is that the students and the EFF student command appears to be taking the lead here. Most of the protests being conducted by young people, and it's not clear whether they'll make their way straight to the Union Buildings and wait there to be addressed by Julius Malema, or whether they will first make their way through the city center at a later stage. And what we are seeing now, the hustle and bustle of the inner city of Pretoria, which is a norm on a Monday, albeit subdued because tomorrow is a public holiday. Many people may have taken leave, may come to an end a little bit later. That's not what's expected from the taxi associations, though. Many of these taxi drivers here are saying that they expect this normal operation to continue throughout the day. The queue marshal is saying the same. There are people in the queues, those getting into the taxi saying they hope to be able to get a taxi going home as easy as they got one coming into the city today. But we don't want to speak too soon, and we'll wait to see what the EFF has in store for the national shutdown here in the capital city.
Whittles, thanks very much for that. From the capital, let's take you live now to Limpopo. Significant because it is the home province of EFF leader Julius Malema. That's where we find our reporter Zikhona Tshona, who is monitoring developments for us there. Zikhona, good morning. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Michelle. Well, it's still quiet. It's still quite early. We started off in the Polokwane CBD. Seems to be business as usual for many people going to work or doing the activities such as exercises. Lots of joggers on the road, in fact, in the Polokwane CBD. But of course, the EFF has also been very quiet and tight-lipped with regards to their plan of action for this day. There has been no information with regards to where they will be starting their protest or where they will be ending off. So for now, we're not sure as to when to expect activity to pick up. Last week, when I spoke to the spokesperson of the EFF, Now Tambo, he said the shutdown can be expected to take part in all parts of the country. We are currently stationed outside the University of Limpopo. I understand that yesterday there was activity here by students, protesting students. They do tell me that they were barred by police from exiting the university campuses, but I can hear some of them singing from inside the campus. But one of them who was here last night participating in the protest is Mahlatsi. Mahlatsi, just give us some details with regards to what was happening here on the campus yesterday.
Oh, thank you, Zikhona. Yesterday, we started protesting inside. And then what happened, when we tried to exit via gate 2, this is gate 3, when we tried to exit, we found that the police were standing outside. And then they refused us from going outside because there is a complex there. So at a later stage, CIC sent a lawyer, so they allowed us to move from gate 2 to gate 3. So we're moving around. So we didn't sleep. Even now, I didn't sleep. But already we have started, and then we have a plan of going outside the campus. We are still trying to wake some students who are still sleeping. And we can't, Ziona. Like, the level of poverty is high. You do your first degree, you don't have any job, you do your second degree. I'm still studying even now. So we are tired. We want this thing to just go, to just stop. Ramaphosa must just go. We are tired.
Right.
Yeah.
So later on, what are your plans as students with regards to participating in the shutdown?
We want to close this road. You see this road, we want to close this road. It won't be business as normal. So we are still collecting some students inside the residence. And after, we're going to exit via gate 1. And then we'll move to gate 2. But the police are still standing outside gate 2. Yeah.
Can you guarantee that it can be peaceful? I mean, you're blocking off the road. There will be students that will want to enter the campus to study or whatever. Can you guarantee that it will be peaceful?
Yes, it will be peaceful. As long as the security guard inside the campus and the police don't provoke us, it will be peaceful.
All right. That's Mahlatsi, one of the students from the University of Limpopo, saying he'll be participating in the shutdown today, saying there's high unemployment. He himself is planning to continue studying just to keep busy because he knows once he leaves university, it will be hard for him to find employment. Now, Michelle, this province in particular, in the municipal elections, the EFF did lose votes. They lost about 25 seats in council, and then the provincial leadership here was disbanded. In fact, in December last year, a new provincial leadership was elected. So this will be the first test for that leadership to prove that it can indeed deliver in terms of bringing people out on the street, heeding the call by the national leadership of the EFF in ensuring that the country is shut down.
Certainly, Zikhona, important point there, and plenty of analysts weighing in on that issue as well, just the significance of what this means for the EFF, especially leading up to the 2024 election. Zikhona Tshona, live to us there in Limpopo, and Govan Whittles tracking those developments for us from the capital, Pretoria. Of course, we'll check in with our reporters throughout the morning, give you a sense of this big developing story.